Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Scaring Myself Shitless Halloween edition of Wade Watches. I'm Wade, and today I'm going to be reviewing the two Tim Burton Batman movies, directed by, of course, Tim Burton, and starring Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, Kim Basinger, and I'm naming people from both movies, Christopher Walken, Danny DeVito, and Michelle Pfeiffer. Among many other fine thespian actors. Those are just the two that I can name off the top of my head. Now, if you guys have been to my channel before, you know that I don't usually put more than one movie in one video. Try and give each movie review its own individual video so I can focus on it more. But I have done this once before. During actually. Way earlier in the year, like during January or February, I combined like a bunch of reviews together just because I was under some time constraints. So I put a bunch of movies that I had seen, around the same time in early 2023 together in one video. But we're not doing a mega review today. We're just focusing on two movies, and that would be the Tim Burton Batman movies, as I just mentioned, and that would be Batman from 1989, and of course, Batman Returns from 1992. So, starting off with Batman 1989, I'll preface this by saying I am more when it comes to my favorite Batman actors, I am more of a Christian Bale, Robert Pattinson guy. I like the more grounded takes. I like kind of, their both of those respective actors like kind of exploring in different ways like what it really means to be a hero and what it really means to inspire good in the city of Gotham. But you know what? Revisiting these two movies, I appreciate Keaton's take on the Caped Crusader for one chief reason, and that is because this focuses on just like the insanity of this idea, the absurdity of it, just like how somebody who decide no matter how badass of a character and how popular of a character that Batman is, someone who decides to dress as a giant mammal and go out and fight crime at night wouldn't be all there in the head. And this movie embraces that. Batman 1989, it really does. Bruce Wayne, definitely comes off like somebody who is quite socially awkward, definitely prefers to be alone. We're kind of similar in that regard. And just like doesn't really know how to fully interact with anybody outside of talking to Alfred, and later when he strikes up a relationship with Vicky Vale. And I like seeing that because yeah, I mean, again, if we're being honest, someone who decides to go out and fight crime as a giant bat at night wouldn't be all there. And I like how this movie is unapologetic about showing that with like how Michael Keaton plays Bruce Wayne. He's crazier and weirder as Bruce Wayne than he is as Batman. And Batman, when he's like under the cape and cowl himself, he doesn't really speak much. He's like straight to the point when he does talk. But as Bruce Wayne, he's just kind of like he's not like a raving lunatic, but he's just not altogether there, and I like seeing that. Um, and I cannot forget about the man himself, the clown prince of crime, Jack Nicholson's portrayal as the Joker. And that's honestly, in my opinion, what makes the first Tim Burton Batman movie. I love Jack Nicholson's take on the Joker. I love how it's not just about causing chaos and anarchy. And I love Heath Ledger's Joker. Don't get me wrong. I love the Dark Knight trilogy. But what was missing from Heath Ledger's Joker was joking, practical jokes, playing these sadistic pranks. And I love how Nicholson's character owns that. He's cracking jokes, telling one-liners, talking about the healing power of laughter, all that good stuff. Awesome take on the Joker. But I will say, in saying that, I will say that that's also kind of the problem. Well, yeah, somewhat of a problem for me is that outside of like Batman going up against the Joker in this movie, which is the meat of the Batman '89, it's a classic Batman versus the Joker story. There really isn't all that much there. Yeah, like I found as kind of nutty that Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne slash Batman he was very emotionally distant. I wasn't connecting to him as much. I didn't really feel that sense of the hero's journey, and I guess that's not the point. The point is just like, he's Batman. He's a bit off, but he's trying to do the right thing. Um, didn't really care about Vicky. Let's be honest, Kim Basinger as Vicky Vale is just there to be the eye candy and the love interest. They kind of have her when she's first introduced, like looking into the Batman, trying to going forming this partnership with another newspaper guy, but that doesn't really go anywhere exciting and intriguing. I wish they had kept that throughout the movie because it would have kind of been cool if both of them throughout the movie were just like trying to figure out who Batman is, and perhaps they stumble across the same line of evidence. But when that romance forms, that's kind of disregarded in favor of like, oh, Batman slash Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne actually has feelings for somebody. Let's see where that goes. So that whole investigative story is kind of abandoned in favor of this romance, which I just didn't find myself invested in. Um, yeah, there's not really all that much there. And I will also say, it's obvious, and this is the truth. This is what happened, but it's definitely obvious that, the executives at Warner Brothers didn't want Tim Burton to go full Tim Burton on this movie. So it's not bad. I'm not saying I dislike this movie. I still like it for what it is, but it's just not my favorite Batman movie. And outside of like seeing Batman in the joke, Batman, but Keaton's Batman and Nicholson's Joker go up against each other in this movie, try and outwit each other, try and outdo each other. Um, there just isn't all that much there that stands out to me. Sorry, there really isn't. So, wrapping it up, I'm going to give Batman 1989 a 7.5 out of 10. I would have gladly gone higher if there had just been, more, but for what it is, it's still a solid Batman installment. I know how culturally like important it is. It forever changed the trajectory of superhero movies in general, so you can't take that away from it. With its significantly darker tone, more kind of gruesome action. It showed that superhero movies didn't just have to be lighthearted camp. They could be serious. So I will definitely always respect the first Batman movie for that. But there's just not all that much there, like revisiting it all these years later. It's a movie I saw as a lot of times as a kid, and I was just like, oh, look, it's Batman. But growing up and having seen the Dark Knight trilogy since then, having seen the Batman directed by Matt Reeves, I prefer those. So 7.5 out of 10 for the first Tim Burton Batman movie from 1989. But now, moving on to Batman Returns from 1992. This movie gave me what Batman 1989 like, because it definitely goes full Tim Burton. Is it this powerful, powerfully compelling, emotional, personal story? No, absolutely not. I mean, they definitely do try and have some heartfelt moments, as does the first 1989 Batman Tim Burton movie, for that matter. Um, but what carries this movie for me is the insanity, the absolute bonkers, off the wall weirdness and insanity. I love the hell out of it because it was Tim Burton being true. Not only was it Tim Burton being true to himself, but for the world that he had set up in the first, Batman 1989 movie. I felt that it was a natural progression, like in terms of like, bigger stakes, more intimidating and imposing villains, or more, at least more interesting villains. And even Batman himself, like getting even weirder and just like getting even crazier. I like how it takes place during Christmas. I like I love Danny DeVito's take on the Penguin. I cannot see anybody else doing that character prop like justice the way he did. Like Burgess Meredith, Colin Farrell. I know you guys have your fans, and I like the Batman from 2022, but Danny DeVito is the Penguin. Same with Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Again, I know there's a whole debate. There's always a debate with comic book movies. she's my favorite take of Catwoman. Sorry, Anne Hathaway. This to me is Catwoman. I love the whip. I love the leather costume. I love her origin story where she's just like resurrected by a group of street cats after being pushed out of a window. Oh, again, only Tim Burton. Only Tim Burton. You got Christopher Walken as this like evil, corrupt businessman. You got circus freaks terrorizing Gotham City Penguin's gang. You have Penguin's crazy ass plots, and they are kind of all over the place because first he wants to um First, I think he wants to, well, he agrees with Christopher Walken to run for mayor, and then after that doesn't work out, he wants to kidnap all the firstborns of Gotham City, and then he wants to just blow up Gotham City using a bunch of penguins as suicide bombers. It's nuts. It's insane. And again, I love it because this movie knows it's crazy. It's not trying to be as deep and as complex as, the Dark Knight trilogy that will come later on. It's not trying to be, anything that tugs really like intently tugs at your heartstrings or makes you really feel for these characters. Again, of course, there are some moments you do kind of feel bad for the Penguin when because it opens up with his origin story and how he came to be, and it is kind of like one of those things like, damn, it's basically like a twisted version of Moses. That's what I was thinking the entire time, like the biblical story from Exodus. That's what was in my mind the entire time watching this, like just like a fucked up version of the Moses story from Exodus. But all that being said, again, yes, you could, if you really wanted to look past all that and nitpick this movie, you could say too many subplots and stories. This doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense. You could pick this story apart because it is kind of flawed because there's no singular I guess the main thing is there's no really singular motivation for the villains who kind of carry this movie because it's Batman, of course, trying to stop these two new villains. But I don't care. I can look past it. I love the sheer insanity of Batman Returns. Wrapping it up, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Love, love, love this crazy twisted movie more so than the Batman 1989. I know Returns is very divisive. While I try and pretend like nothing came after Returns. Those, oh Jesus, Schumacher. Let's not go there though. Anyway, I know it's very divisive. It's not widely hated. It's just very divisive. I'm one of the people who loves it. So 9 out of 10 for Batman Returns, and wrapping it up, I guess I'll also say that the reason I picked these Tim Burton movies over, other ones that are more synonymous with the holiday of Halloween is just because nostalgia value. I just felt like watching these, and they're very, there's gothic design. There's a lot of influence taken from German expressionism and all that good stuff. Definitely some influence from like Nosferatu, Metropolis. So I figured, why the hell not review these for Halloween? And so I did. So again, 9 out of 10 for Batman Returns. I gave Batman 1989 a 7.5 out of 10. This has been a double feature review for Halloween from Wade Watches, and I will see you all next time. Peace.